This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. A blaze that ripped through a Launceston timber yard overnight, causing almost $1 million damage, is being treated as deliberately lit. Police say the Neville Smith Forest Products yard was locked at the time and firefighters had to cut chains to gain access. Witnesses are now being called on to assist with the investigation.
Flames up to 5 metres high, lighting up the night sky, as hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of quality timber quickly turned to ash. Fire crews were first alerted to the blaze at Neville Smith Forest Products in Mowbray soon after 10:30 last night.
It was quite intense and had the potential to spread over a large area.
The fire was burning inside racks of air-dried stock, which made it harder for the 40-plus firefighters to battle.
You can't actually get to the seat of the fire, so we needed lots of water capability. So we called on heavy tankers. We were unsure about water supply.
11 crews assisted at the Remount Road yard, including many volunteers. Compressed air foam systems were brought in for the battle. No one was injured. As morning broke, smoke continued to billow, triggering health warnings for local residents. And firefighters kept working all day to ensure flames were controlled. The true extent of the inferno has also been revealed, with a total of 240 timber racks destroyed.
At this stage, early indications are that the damage bill is in excess of $800,000.
Police say initial investigations reveal the blaze was deliberately lit.
There is no power to the seat of the fire, or no electricity, I should say. So that is the early indication. However, we'll be taking certain samples and tests for accelerant to try and confirm that. Investigators
also calling on security vision from surrounding businesses and witnesses. The yard is usually manned overnight, but police say last night it wasn't. That is now forming part of the investigation. The company says workers weren't on site as they're currently on a scheduled annual leave break. Security companies were still doing regular patrol checks. NSFP says its operations will continue as normal, but it now has a big clean-up ahead. Anyone with information can contact Crime Stoppers. Monika Dadson, Southern Cross News.
Police are investigating human remains discovered in remote bushland near the Terhune Airwalk, southwest of Hobart. Officers have several clues that could lead to the identity of the mystery bones, including a backpack and foreign currency. Our reporter Jacqueline Robson has the story.
Police say 2 bushwalkers made the grim discovery on Sunday in the remote bushland of the Huon Valley, around 10 kilometres west of the Terhune Airwalk that's popular with tourists. A backpack was located near the remains. It includes Swiss francs and Hong Kong dollars, with a receipt for a currency exchange in Zurich, Switzerland, dated back to December 2010. Food and other items were also located, with indications the person had not planned an overnight journey.
We located some clothing, but it didn't appear to be a tent or a sleeping bag or any other equipment that had suggested he was prepared to stay overnight.
Now, police believe the death occurred around 6 years ago, but are yet to identify the deceased. They do believe, however, it was a male person that may have been staying in West Australia. Inquiries are now being made interstate.
Investigations are ongoing, including the possibility that the deceased person was reported as a missing person, either interstate or overseas.
Police have ruled out foul play in the death and will now conduct forensic examinations on the remains and also on the items located. A report is also being prepared for the coroner.
The state government has criticised Taswater for spending money on advertisements promoting system upgrades. In the past 2 days, the company has splashed out on 6 ads across 3 newspapers, including a front page spot. Taswater states, "We are making good on our promise of providing clean drinking water," but the government isn't happy.
For Taswater to be using ratepayers' money to defend themselves in this way, I think will leave a nasty taste in people's mouths.
The state government is pushing to take over the water company, arguing it will get upgrades completed quicker. Taswater says it placed the ads as Tasmanians have the right to know, and it will maintain its modest publicity schedule. TasSal's controversial Oakhampton Bay fish farm development is going full steam ahead. Vessels specially built for the site hitting the water today, with more to come. But the project remains soured by environmental opposition.
A very East Coast christening. Local wine blessing vessels destined for the region's fish farms. The Big Daddy, this 16-metre boat for Spring Bay Seafoods. It will be used to harvest more mussels within the company's existing lease at Mercury Passage.
That is currently underutilised, that we'd like to expand our shellfish growing operations in that lease.
But two smaller vessels made for TasSal are pricking up ears. They're earmarked for use at Oakhampton Bay, after the company's plans were ticked off by an independent review panel earlier this year.
Everything from the feed is manufactured here to the boats that we're seeing today.
But this green light has not earned green support.
The government has no community mandate. TasSal has no social licence.
Claiming the new boats fly in the face of critics, including those working in tourism. But the government says the expansion is a life jacket for the local economy.
Driving jobs into regional Tasmania, where everybody gets a crack at the great economy we've got going in Tasmania.
The three vessels launching today have a combined cost of $2 million. It's a major investment for the boat builder, which relies heavily on aquaculture to stay in business.
Massively. That's over half of our year's work. So we employ 8 full-time staff, I think there is at the moment, plus contractors. This week, we've had up to 16 guys in my workshop at any one day.
6 more vessels are being built for TasSal ahead of its planned development at Oakhampton Bay next year. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
Tasmania's tourism operators will be offered new low-interest loans in an attempt to capitalise on booming visitor numbers. The state government's hoping it will help boost regional tourism, with $20 million now up for grabs.
Construction is already underway at the Argosy Motor Inn, part of a master plan to double the accommodation on site to keep up with rising visitor numbers.
We're underway at the moment, upgrading our 16 executive suites, spending a significant amount of money on those.
It's just one regional business looking to capitalise on a growing tourism sector, with a new concessional loan scheme hoping to give other businesses the opportunity to improve the visitor experience.
They can range from $50,000 right up to $1.5 million. So there'll be a number of Tasmanian businesses, we're sure, that have got renovations planned.
Only established businesses will get a financial kickstart in line with the government's tourism strategic plan.
The Department of State Growth will fund it through assessments undertaken by the Tasmanian Development Board.
Well, the Premier was today softening the government's solution to helping vulnerable teenagers, as a report by Anglicare revealed many are slipping through the care system. A tough on crime response by the acting minister yesterday, drawing criticism from the opposition.
Often the best way to support Tasmanians in need is to provide them with a good education, good health and human services, the opportunity for a job.
More alternative education programs for children that are doing it tough is of the utmost importance. We know that once children disengage from education, the road back is very tough.
The recommendations of the report continue to be considered by the government. Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
A new Tasmanian-based company says it has come up with a fail-proof way to improve surfing conditions and wants to take its invention worldwide. But before it conquers the world's beaches, Wavebusters wants to build its first artificial reef at Dodgers Ferry, unveiling plans that are already dividing the seaside community.
Shane Abel says fake surf reefs usually fail because they're built on the sea floor. So he wants to build a raised one using pylons and the same hard plastic used on fish farms. He says 200 metres offshore at Park Beach in Tasmania's southeast is the perfect trial site, but it comes with a $3 million price tag. It's money he's hoping to raise from the private sector or government.
They build a lot of skateboard parks, etc., halls, cricket grounds and hockey grounds, but historically there's never been any money spent on surfing. So here's an opportunity, I suppose, for my good friend Will Hodgman to come along and give me a few dollars to help me build an artificial surf reef and hopefully improve the standard of surfing in Tasmania.
Surfing Tasmania says its 800 plus members haven't decided whether to support it, but Executive Officer Shane Clark can see the benefits.
Anything that helps us give kids time in the water in quality ways where they can build their wave riding skills and techniques on forehand and backhand is a bonus, and it's something that we'd certainly look at.
But down at the beach, opinions are mixed. Renowned big wave rider Tyler Holmer-Cross knows these waves well and says there's no guarantees the beach and the rest of the natural break won't be damaged.
It's already crowded enough as it is here. It's probably one of the most surf spots in Tasmania, and I just think that it's not the place to do it.
The proponents are now planning a community information session at Dodgers Ferries Community Centre on August 2 to explain the new technology.
Given the examples that exist around the world of other failed artificial reefs, and there's not a great track record with them, you'd be thinking that that some sound, concrete information would be provided that would enable people to make a decision.
The project won't proceed unless we get community backing. I mean, I'm not going to worry about pushing it if people don't want it. I mean, people need to want it.
Andrew McCarthy, Southern Cross News.
The Law Reform Institute is calling for an overhaul for laws that allow the indefinite detention of dangerous criminals. There are concerns judges are reluctant to make dangerous criminal declarations due to the high threshold prisoners face to overcome the ruling.
It is possible that judges are aware that should they make a dangerous criminal declaration, that individual will essentially be incarcerated indefinitely, and there is very little hope for them to be discharged into the community.
We'll talk to the community about what's contained in our research paper and answer any questions about it. And we'll answer questions from Parliament and any other interested body.
Only one dangerous criminal has been released under the current legislation. 5 budding master chefs are spending part of their school holidays preparing meals at Ronald McDonald House. The 9 to 12-year-olds are students at Cooking for All, a program designed to give life skills to young Tasmanians. Today's dishes all about comfort food, with lasagna and brownies high on the menu.
Like, I couldn't describe the feeling that we felt all week, and all the girls were really, really excited and the families were excited. We just can't wait to do something for somebody else, and I think it's wonderful also that children are learning how to help other children.
Ronald McDonald House provides accommodation for around 300 Tasmanian families in need each year. Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The share market has closed lower as investor sentiment was impacted by concerns about the future of the Trump administration's economic agenda. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 55.1 points. Short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 76.45 US cents and 105.65 New Zealand cents.
Well, it's the match many Tasmanian basketball fans have been waiting for, with former Tornado favourite Michaela Roof preparing to face her old side for the first time in Chargers colours. Another huge matchup on the northwest, with the Thunder in impressive form and sitting just one win behind the Chargers on the Siebel ladder.
A grudge match not to be missed.
It was one of the first things she said when she got off the plane, that she wanted to beat them. So I'm thinking that she's going to be pretty pumped up.
And we just can't concentrate on one person. Michaela is going to go out there and do what Michaela's going to do, and hopefully we can make it as hard as we can for her.
The Chargers went 1 from 2 over the weekend against Dandenong and Melbourne, as the Tawns made easy work of Kilsyth to go 3 wins ahead of their interstate rivals on the conference ladder.
It's the most complete performance we've had all year as a team. So, you know, I think we did some really good things, but we can definitely get better from it.
So there's quite a rivalry there. So we obviously want to come out on top of that. Well, I think we lost both last year, so we'd like to get both this year.
Having lost their last 4 games on the road, the men's side are no longer bothering to make excuses.
At the end of the day, it's what we do on the floor that matters, and honestly, we just haven't been getting it done.
It's been pretty disappointing, pretty frustrating. I think it comes down to our energy. You know, we have to bring our own energy on the road. There's something at home that we rely on.
The Chargers come up against the red-hot Northwest Thunder in Ulverston on Saturday night, who are coming off 2 big away wins over Albury and Kilsyth. It's a massive game for both sides and their finals hopes, with the Thunder now breathing down the Chargers' neck for 3rd spot on the South Conference ladder, just 1 win behind them.
Every game is important now, and we very much realize that now that we've seen our name go from 1st to 3rd in a matter of weeks.
A new look Corunna Flames will take to the court this weekend, with the side unveiling a new clash strip uniform for their grudge match with fierce rivals Crips.
It's a pretty big game for us. Fighting for the top 4 is a big thing at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
The club says the new strip is also part of an effort to improve the professional culture within the sport here in Tasmania. Most Aussie rules umpires will be happy to get through a few seasons, so the thought of almost 4 decades with the whistle is hard to believe. But this weekend, Rodney Anderson will take to the field to umpire game number 1000.
With 100 games considered a milestone for any player or umpire, Rodney Anderson is about to go 10 times better.
That's obviously a lot of games, there's a lot of decisions and there's a lot of kilometres that I've run over the years, but it's been a very enjoyable journey.
It's a passion that started all the way back in 1981 when a playing injury forced him into umpiring. Since then, he's documented every single game and wielded the whistle on a whopping 25 grand finals. One in particular sprang to mind.
In the old Scholars Reese's a couple of years ago where Dosa were a couple of points up, but a Richmond player running into an open goal had the chance to win it in the dying seconds, the kick on the siren. Missed it, 1 point, they went down by 1 point.
This weekend he umpires game 1000 when OHA take on Richmond in the Old Scholars at Gilston Bay. Close friend and fellow umpire Philip Linnell reached the milestone last year and says he and the tight-knit umpiring fraternity will help Rod celebrate with a few cold ones after the match.
You have to be, I suppose, don't you, Rid? I mean, when you're on the field, we haven't got many friends, so...
As for how many more games Rod's got left in him?
As long as I keep enjoying it, as long as I can physically run, then I've probably got a few left in me, hopefully, yes.
Good evening, Hobart 10 degrees, Launceston 12, Burnie 11, Devonport 13. They were the big numbers for the day. Lyowini had a -7 while it was 21 degrees warmer at Strawn and the Bass Strait Islands. Temperatures mostly below average but only just. St Helens, Friendly Beaches and Campania 13, Lowhead 12 and Wynyard 11. High cloud was over the state along with Victoria and New South Wales with more patchy cloud over central areas and also the Northern Territory. Onshore stream has cloud over the east coast and a frontal band is crossing the Bight. A mostly thin layer of cloud over the state today, a little low cloud over the north as well. Tomorrow the cold front moves closer to our west coast with another further back. A high pressure system over the Tasman Sea extends a ridge over the mainland. Winds northwest to northeasterly increasing to 20 to 30 knots over the west and later for other waters, swells at 2.5 metres. A road weather alert warns of frost and black ice on suspect roads in the morning. A gale warning for waters from Low Rocky Point to Sandy Cape. A strong wind warning for most other coastal waters. A small craft wind alert for the lakes. Maybe some light rain for Hobart tomorrow. 14 the maximum, 12 for Cygnet after a frost and 12 degrees also for New Norfolk, -2 to start the day. Launceston morning fog, rain developing, 13 the top, 13 for Devonport, 11 for Campbelltown. Burnie tomorrow, rain developing and 14, same for Strawn and Smithton, rain on the way, 13 degrees. St Helens tomorrow, possible light rain, 14, same for Swansea, light rain 2 later in the day for Fingal, 13 degrees. On Friday, rain across the state, heavier over the west and north, snow to 800 metres. Fine on Saturday, apart from a shower easing from the west and south, and showers over the north on Sunday extending to all areas apart from the southeast. Showers in Perth, Adelaide and Melbourne tomorrow. A sunny 13 in Canberra and Sydney, fine. Tonight for the Blues big win in Brisbane, it will be fine and 14 degrees. A shower tomorrow and 21. Currently fine with the temperatures dropping, 5 degrees in Hobart, 8 degrees in Launceston, Devonport fine and 5 degrees. Thank you to you and Tom for reminding me how old I am, Joe. Tonight is weather number 6,820, hit number 7,000 in May next year, but you'll be sick of me by then.
Sick of you now. I don't need another year to work that out. Thank you, Murph. You're a legend. That's all from the news team for now. See you a bit later.